And hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. So good to see you again. So nice to have you here on my live stream today. Welcome, a very warm welcome to all of you. Welcome to today's live episode of the Raise Your Energy podcast. If you don't know me yet, my name is Lange. I'm your host and an energy expert. And today I am opening the doors to my new signature program called Energy Academy. And I want to share with you how I got here. So I'm taking you behind the scenes of the last few years of my life. So excited to share all of that with you. And as we are live, feel free to put any questions you have about my journey, what I do as an energy expert, or about Energy Academy as well, my new course, into the chat. I can see the chat over here, and I will get to answer all of your questions, probably more towards the end, but keep them coming. Ask me anything you'd like. I would really appreciate getting to know you a little bit more and, of course, answer any of your questions. Okay. So, my story about how I created Energy Academy. Well, we're gonna start. It all started about 3.5 years ago when I finally accepted that I was burned out. So it all started with a diagnosis, so to say, about my health or unhealth, so to say. Obviously, I was already burnt out for years at that point, but never really allowed myself to see it, accept it, or let it be real. I always had, of course, the dream of a rising corporate career at that time, and I was well on my way to making that happen as well. But there was a point, even before I accepted that I was burnt out, where I started to ask myself some deeper questions, something like, is this all there is to it? Or do I want to really do this for the next 20, 30 years? That's the kind of questions that went through my mind about 3.5 to 4 years ago. And maybe you have questions like that as well. I think it's very normal that at some point in our lives, that we do have these kind of questions, that we wake up and we ask ourselves what we really do want from our lives. So deep down, when I asked myself the question, I probably already knew that the answer was no. I did not want to keep doing this for the next 20, 30 years. That's not really what truly fulfilled me. But I did not look closer out of fear of what would happen. What does it mean for my career that I worked so hard to have? If I would accept that this is not really what I wanted anymore, what would happen next, right? So fear came up and I didn't allow myself to look closer. But then half a year later, my body said enough is enough, and I had to take a few weeks off from work to recover from burnout. That's when I accepted that I was burned out and finally knew I had to do something about it. During that time, when I was off, I actually got really deep into the topic of inner work and meditation. And the teacher that I was learning from during that time was Dr. Joe Dispenza, which some of you or a lot of you might even know. And I've always been interested in the area of law of attraction, spirituality, and manifestation, actually, since I was a teenager, so a really long time. But it was always more of a hobby and interest, nothing really that I pursued more than reading some books, watching some documentaries or some movies in this area. But at that time, when I dove deep into it again, during my time off from work, the flame of excitement got really, really big. Probably because my subconscious mind and my soul already knew that this was part of my new direction, part of my next step in life. So I felt a lot of excitement in this area. And because of that, I suddenly had that thought, if this interests me so much and it has for such a long time, why not make it my profession? And I was really kind of like, what? Who am I to do that, right? Who am I to go out and teach this kind of work? But I put that to side. I took that second thought out of my mind and I just dreamed big. And I just said, why not? I can make this happen. And that's when the general idea was born to start teaching people this work. And at the time, I was already studying to become a certified coach next to my full-time job. So initially I thought that that's what I was going to do. I would coach people, and during the coaching, I will teach people in this work. That was my initial thought when I started to think about my own business. So over the next few months, I started to set up my own business and start posting as well about it on social media, which was, of course, very exciting. If you've ever done that, it's, of course, amazing to start off. It's very nerve-wracking, but as well super exciting to put yourself out there for the first time. Yeah, and just get started as well on doing your own thing, right? So I had a lot of energy at that time for it. And I did that for about 1.5 years while still working in my full-time job. And during that time, I just kept learning, I kept studying in all of this topic just to get, of course, more knowledge, but as well to apply more into my life. And I got as well much deeper into meditation. So that was the time after I had my burnout that I got more into regular meditation practice. And I made great progress in my health and well-being at that time. Every time I learned something new, I would apply it into my life straight away. And that's where true learning really comes from. I know that now, from actually applying it into your life. If you don't apply knowledge, if you just create knowledge in your mind, in your brain, but you don't apply it into your life, it just stays a theory, a philosophy in your head. But you never actually do something with that knowledge. It means that you're actually never really changing, and you're not changing yourself and you're not changing your life if you don't apply knowledge or information into your life. So it's really important to apply whatever you learn in whatever field it is. It doesn't really matter but to actually apply it into your life. That is where true learning and true knowledge actually exists. So during those first 1.5 years, I actually pretty quickly realized that I rather wanted to focus on teaching than coaching one-on-one. So I offered as well some workshops during that time and even started to create a course, but it all did not yet feel right. I think I was still in this finding my true self process. I was still developing and I was still learning to become that new version of myself. So everything that I kind of started doing, the workshops or the course, it did not yet sit with me right. It was not yet the right answer or the right tool. But one of the things that I'm very proud of that I did start during that first 1.5 years was the Raise Your Energy podcast. I created that 2.5 years ago already. That's when I started to publish an episode every single week. And today, this is actually episode 128 already. And I love the podcast, and I love how many people have already received lessons and realizations and great benefits from it. And I love to hear from my listeners or people who watch the video version on YouTube like you are doing now. and tell me as well and share with me how I help them to get unstuck and make some changes in their lives for the better. I love to receive that feedback. That's why I'm doing it all for you, of course, to apply what I learned as well and make your life better exactly how I've done it in the last few years. So all in all, I began to move into a new direction and felt better than in years due to the regular meditation practice, but as well learning more about how we humans actually work on the inside. And then after those 1.5 years, while I was working on my business, still in full-time employment, I had the chance to leave my job with the benefit of a separation agreement and payment. And I took the chance, I took the step to go full-time into my business, which was, of course, another huge step and very exciting step. After I just left my corporate career, I took some time to travel. And what was quite big there was that I visited my first week-long retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza. That was my dream since that time when I started to dive deep into his work, when I was burnt out and stayed at home. It was my dream, of course, to go at some point to one of his week-long retreats. You might have heard about them. They are life-changing. So I got to do that literally the week after I left my corporate career. And a lot changed during that retreat, but even more afterwards. I had the most amazing experience during that event and in the weeks afterwards when I was traveling. And I got more serious as well about my meditation practice. And I was so impressed with Dr. Joe's teachings that I actually went and applied to go through his certification to become one of his NCS consultants. So if you don't know what that means, it stands for Neurochange Solutions, and you get certified to be able to teach a 2-day training. It's a training program that is based on his teachings, and you are literally just allowed to give this training in his name if you go, of course, through a certification process. So I actually applied for this, I think 1 week after my first retreat. And yeah, that's what I was focused on during 2022. And thankfully, I was accepted to be trained by Dr. Joe personally. And I went through the certification process. And I think it took me about 3 months. It's a big process. And yeah, after that process, of course, I started teaching his program. And some of you have actually gone through it with me in the last couple of years. And going through that process and teaching his work really truly accelerated my development to a degree that I cannot even describe. It's like on speed or on drugs, so to say. Going so deep into this work to be able to teach it word for word, exactly how Dr. Joe teaches it, means that you actually start to embody this knowledge. I mean, you don't just know, you have it in your body, so to say, because he's really adamant that he wants us to say everything like he says it on stage. And once you get into learning it like that, you understand as well why every word that he creates and says really has a meaning to it. And looking back at this certification process, it was truly one of the hardest things I've ever done and one of the most rewarding. It has helped me probably the most in my self-development, self-actualization, and getting to know myself and how we as humans actually work. And at the same time, it was so hard, but so rewarding. So yeah, in the last 2 years, I loved as well visiting quite a few of his other events and teaching, of course, his program and helping people to learn how to change, how to truly change something in their life that they have been trying to change for such a long time and failed until then. And being one of his consultants means as well being part of a community of like-minded, amazing human beings, of course. So I have made the most beautiful friendships by being part of the worldwide Dr. Joe Dispenza community in various roles and responsibilities that I'm still in, and I just love it. It's just so loving, so rewarding, and so growing as well. You just keep growing inside of you and outside of you. In 2022, I became even more in touch as well with energy work again, and I completed my Reiki education. I actually started it a long time ago with my mother. She was a Reiki master. When I was a young adult, I actually got introduced already to Reiki. And I just felt in 2022, I just felt I wanted to go through the process again and revive it inside of me and actually get my Reiki master as well. It was one more stepping stone to get even more in touch with my own energy and to work with it more consciously, to truly understand how my energy inside of me works and how I can work with my energy to have more energy. That's what it's all about, what I do. So yeah, a few months ago then, if we go forward a little bit, a few months ago, I had this realization or this nagging feeling that something was still missing for me in my business, but as well in my own growth journey. Yes, I was teaching what I was passionate about or still am passionate about. I had my podcast and I even started creating my own meditations that I publish here on YouTube. So all things that I still love doing, but I realized that I wanted to do my own thing when it comes to teaching. I love Dr. Joe's way of teaching, and I will never stop learning from him. But a little voice inside of me asked me to go my own way and start teaching people in my own style with my own words. To share as well my personal learnings, including all of my trial and error, my hard lessons that I had to go through, and any challenges that I had to overcome. And let me tell you, even with all of the development that I created and got myself into, I still had a lot of challenges to overcome. Actually, it's kind of like once you start opening that box, a lot of stuff comes up that you have to deal with. But it's good to finally deal with it and not to be caught in a prison anymore by all of these things that are stuck inside of us. So yeah, that's when I decided to listen to that message, to listen to that little voice and stop being an NCS consultant for Dr. Joe. And that's when I started to create my own program, which is now Energy Academy. And Energy Academy is a collection of everything I learned and applied in my life over the last 3.5 years. And inside this program, I teach you everything that works, why it works as well. So I explain it to you and how you can apply it into your life to make any changes that you want in any areas of your life. I truly teach you the step-by-step process of change based on all kinds of sciences, neuroscience, behavioral science, biology, and on the other side as well, spirituality, meditation, and emotional intelligence. All of this coming together nicely, actually saying the same thing, just with slightly different words, which is so exciting. And when you start learning this and actually applying it into your life, which you of course do inside of Energy Academy, you will see that it works. And you realize that you can actually use it in any life situation. That's literally what happened to me. Once I started using and applying all of this, I'm like, oh my God, this is actually working. This is making me feel better and have more energy again and be happier again. And then you just want to keep going. It's like, why would you want to stop, right? When you start realizing of how this actually works once you learn it. And I keep asking myself this question. It's like, why do we not teach this at school? Because we should. Kids at all ages should learn of how our brains work, how our bodies work, how our emotions work, how the nervous system works, all of this, because it's so life-changing and so helpful once you all know this. So Energy Academy is the right program for you if you have, let's say, for example, a habit or a situation or a relationship in your life that you wanted to change for a long, long time, but so far failed to change it. And you might be at that point where you just don't know anymore what else to do. You've tried it all already. So that is the perfect situation for you to come and join Energy Academy. Or you keep being triggered by certain people or situations in your life and you're just sick of it. You ask yourself, when will this ever stop? When will you not be triggered anymore by certain people in your life? I can explain you inside of Energy Academy of why you are being triggered, how this all works inside of you, and how you can stop it and change it. Or you might have a dream, you might have big goals, you have amazing desires still to achieve in your life, but either you just don't know or they have just not come true, even with all the hard work and all the effort that you have been putting into it already. And you ask yourself again, what is missing? What are you doing wrong? And you've tried so many things already. Again, perfect scenario for you to learn how to change really from A to Z, so to say, because then you will see, oh, okay, this is missing, or I'm doing this wrong, or I have to do this slightly different. And then your desires and dreams will start to come true. Or you ask yourself where your energy has gone, not why, where your energy has gone, and why everything in your life just feels so difficult and overwhelming. To be honest, that's literally the situation I was in for years before I accepted that I was burned out. That is literally the state of burnout. To just ask yourself on a daily basis, why am I so exhausted and depleted? And why every little thing in your life is so stressful and so overwhelming? That is literally a description of being burned out. And when you are in that state, then please don't keep going and just think that you're all right and that you can overcome this all by yourself. I've tried this before. Just take the short road and short path and join Energy Academy. And in a few months, you know everything you need to know to overcome burnout once and for all. Like I left burnout behind. And I know that I won't ever fall back into that trap ever again. And I take it very seriously because burnout should be taken very seriously. So all of the situations that I've just described to you are things that I had in my life. So the dreams and desires that I couldn't reach, the being triggered by all kinds of situations and people, the nagging feeling that where the heck is my energy gone and why can I not enjoy my life? And trying to make changes for years and years and just not being able to do it. All of these are things that I've been able to change based on the processes, the tools and techniques that I teach you inside of the program. And believe me, I had them all. You are not alone. I think we're all in the same boat. So yeah, today marks the day that I open the doors to Energy Academy for the first time to all of you. And you can find the link in the episode description for you to learn more or for you to even sign up and come and join us inside of Energy Academy. And you even have a choice of options on how to go through the program. That's a really cool thing about it. You can either choose to go through it as a self-paced learning and kind of do it by yourself, but still be supported by me. Or if you want really more of the VIP treatment, the high touch treatment and the additional support and accountability, then you can join Energy Academy in a combination with a 10-week group coaching experience that we will start next week in 1.5 weeks. So you can find all of the information about these two options on the sign up page. lindalange.com/energy academy, or just look in the description of this episode. And yeah, last not but least, I want to tell you that you don't need to change everything in your life for you to feel better, for you to feel more energized again, for you to overcome burnout and enjoy your life again. You don't need to change everything in your life. No, not if you don't want to. You can, of course, but you don't have to. If you have built yourself a life that you generally like and that you're actually proud of, but you just want to have more energy again and enjoy the fruits of your labor, then you can learn how to change yourself on the inside and look at your life from a whole new perspective and start loving your life again. And I can show you how to do that inside Energy Academy. And I would be so honored to welcome you inside of the program and for your new life to begin. Don't miss out on it. Make a decision today. You are seeing this and hearing this for a particular reason because your higher self, your soul, is probably looking for something like that. And I'm just a channel, I'm just a guide here to help you for a short period of time on your journey. And today is a new tomorrow, so decide today. Okay, that was everything I wanted to share with you about my journey. And we are here, of course, still a little bit, so let me know. I'm just going to check. There are no questions at the moment, I believe. That is absolutely fine. You can still leave questions afterwards if you haven't watched it live. If you watch the replay, put your questions underneath in the comments, in the reviews, wherever you're going to listen or watch to this, and just let me know what you want to know more of, and I will make sure to respond to you. Thank you so much for listening to me today or watching this video, wherever you are in this world. You know, we are now connected, and I'm so grateful for that. And thank you very much for giving me the support. And with that, I love you and leave you. Talk soon, and bye-bye. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye-bye.